Kathy's more on the ball than you, Steve. She's always ready to go at 5:30.
I was trying to figure out who your applicants were on the phone, but they couldn't hear me.
Oh,
Yeah, but just so you know, you have a Scott Wolby and a Lionel Kelly on there right now. I don't know which items, but they're on.
I think
When
Scott
we reach that.
Bryce Jones with item 4.
All right. And then we just got another person joined too. So pretty sure all the applicants are here.
Okay.
You are good to go, Chairman.
All right. Okay, it's a little after 5:30, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Washington City Planning Commission on June 17th, 2020. Being held via LinkedIn, Zoom, whatever, YouTube broadcast. To begin the meeting, I've asked Commissioner Henry to give us the invocation and Commissioner Monty Hawley to give us the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father, we bow this night and give thanks for the opportunity of serving the community. And as we meet this night, Father, we ask for thy help to be with us, that we may make decisions that are appropriate for the city and appropriate for the help we need to give the city council. And Father, we're grateful for many blessings that we have in this community and ask you to help us keep working with the community to make it a good place to live. And we're thanks, Father, for all of the many, many blessings we have. And we give thanks in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Fellas, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Beauty. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Item 1A is the approval of the agenda. I've been informed that item 5A has been asked to be removed from the meeting tonight. That's the general plan amendment. So with that change, I would look for a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Commissioner Hawley, I second that.
Have a motion and a second. Commissioner Henry, if you'll give us your vote now.
Okay. Yay.
Okay. Commissioner Hawley?
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzonfu?
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So item 1A is approved. Minutes, the approval of the minutes for June 3rd.
I will abstain from voting on that one where I was not in attendance.
Okay.
Oh, I reviewed the meeting.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Hawley. I've reviewed the minutes. I make a motion that we approve.
Commissioner Hanson, I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Hawley?
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzonfu?
Aye. Sorry.
And Commissioner Musso?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Motion passes unanimously. Item 3 is declaration of abstentions and conflicts. Do we have any tonight?
Items 4A and 4B. I live less than a mile from these agenda items.
Okay. Any others? If not, we will move to item 4A. This is a public hearing for consideration and recommendation to City Council zone change request Z-20-08 to change from RA1 residential agricultural minimum 1 acre to R115 single family residentials minimum 15,000 square foot lots located at approximately 2800 South, 240 West. The applicant is Dave Nazel. And staff, I'll turn time to you for your report.
Hey, can you guys see the screen okay? Is that exhibit up there?
Yes.
Sir.
Yes, thank you.
All right. As stated, the applicant is requesting approval to change the zoning of approximately 18.01 acres. The requested change is from the current zoning of residential agricultural 1 acre minimums, or the RA1 zoning designation, to a proposed single-family residential 15,000 square foot minimum, or referred to as the R115 zoning designation. This request is for the purpose of developing the 18 acres into a residential subdivision. The general plan land use designation for this property is low-density residential. In that low density, the two zoning districts allowed in there are the R112 and the R115. And so it fits on the general plan. The surrounding zoning to the parcel is RA1 to the north, R112 to the south and west, and then Washington County zoning to the east on that boundary. With that said, staff would like to recommend that the Planning Commission recommend approval of Z-20-08 for the zone change request from RA1 residential agricultural 1 acre minimum to the proposed R115 single family residential 15,000 square foot lot zoning designation onto the city council, and that's based on the findings in your report. So I'll be glad to answer any questions that the commissioners might have before you go into your comments on your public hearing.
This is Commissioner Holly. I just, I don't know that we need to correct the recording or not, but the parcel to the north and the west is R1-10, and Drew, you said it was R1-12. I don't know that that makes any difference or not.
Well, I thought I said 10 because it's written on my report that way, but yeah.
Did anybody else hear 12?
Yeah, I heard 12.
Okay, good.
Drew, you just need to accept it.
It's, my age is finally starting to catch up with me. You heard it here first at the Planning Commission meeting.
Hey,
R110 is on the west and the south. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Drew, is this a remnant of the old bonus density stuff? Is that what this is, or kind of, or no?
No, this property and the one, where you do see the R110s and, to the west and south, not 12, but 10s. Those were all designated RA1, and it really wasn't because of bonus density. They just, I guess at the time came in, they were just awarded that through annexation. That's kind of what they wanted, to keep their agricultural going. And yet they thought maybe if they split it, so they would probably chose the RA1 years and years ago. It's been like this since I've worked for the city, over 14 years. So that's my best guesstimation on that. So
Okay.
So I have a question. So the R110 to the west, if I remember right, S&S came in and got that changed just within the last couple of months.
that's right. It used to be
Correct.
12. That's why I said it probably, because, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So why, and you guys are going to hate me for this, but here's my concern. If we propose this as R115, they can put, and Jason, I'm going to need your help on this. That's 18 acres. How much of that would they need to use for streets and roads? Probably 3 or 4 acres of that.
Yeah, you're probably looking at around 20%.
20%. So if you have 18,
3.6.
3.6. So if you lose 20%, you're going to have approximately 40 lots that they could put in there at R115. Now, my concern is that, we have all this, we have a bunch of open space, and we keep putting in R115 lots. And your average lot price for an R115 lot is about $150,000 right now. That means you're going to have to build $600,000 plus homes on that site to justify the lot costs. And I'm questioning, do we need a bunch more $600,000 plus homes, or would we be better served trying to maybe even increase the density on this to R110 to allow more lots, but then the lot price could be less expensive, and then you could put in 15 to 1,800 square foot houses that are going to be a middle or a second home for most people, as opposed to going in towards a top end home. And I just, like I said, it's nothing but a cow pasture, and there's not a real reason why it should be R115. You're better served from a highest and best use if it's a little bit higher density. You know, the R115 works real well when you're in a someplace where you have to use retaining walls and all that stuff, and your pad size actually decreases. But with something like this, it seems to me it'd be better served if it was R110, or even a little bit higher than that, personally.
I feel that we cannot tell people what they're going to build if they bring it in and it meets all of the requirements. And if this guy wants to build 10 homes on that property, I think that's his call, not ours.
No, I understand that, but I think if he's going to develop it, I would assume he'd like to develop it to maximize his profit. And if you're going to maximize your profit, it seems to me that you're putting a little bit higher density on there might maximize your profit, as opposed to, you know, lower density lots. I'm just throwing it out, Rick. I mean,
I understand what you're saying, but I'm a firm believer that people have the rights to develop as what they'd like it to be if it fits our requirements.
Right. And that's not saying that he couldn't put 15,000 square foot lots on there if he wanted to. But it gives him an option.
I understand. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Hawley. I'd like to put my 2 cents in there. Like Brian, I remember when we did that lot, that parcel to the west, to R1-10. And Brian, you had the same argument, and you have every right to that lower or higher density argument, for sure. I'm not going to debate that with you guys, but what I see is the R110 to the west, and if this goes through, the R115 adjacent. So we've got big, like Brian says, $600,000 homes backing up to $300,000 homes. Well, you know what's going to happen. Whoever gets in there first, those $600,000 homes are going to complain about their views. They're going to complain about looking down on $300,000 homes. The whole public hearing will be not in my backyard kind of thing, because the $600,000 homes are going to look down on the $300,000 homes. So I would like to see more consistency. Have it all $600,000 homes or all $300,000 homes, so we don't have pit neighbors against neighbors. I don't want to look in their backyard because it's not as nice as mine, kind of.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but you have to look at the other direction too. You do have RA1s and RA1 halves on the east side there.
Yeah, the houses around there are typically bigger than smaller.
Yeah, but your RA1, you have quite a bit of distance between. You know, that Washington County ground is undeveloped. That's all cow pasture.
Well, right, but it's not going to be. I mean, in the long run, it's not going to be. So, consistency-wise, I mean, I guess I can see what you're saying. I'm just saying the other direction. Are we going to put R110 next to 1 acre lots that are already developed?
That is the dilemma.
Well, you don't have R110 up against 1 acre lots, Jason.
Well, you don't currently, but are you forcing? So you're saying that the 15 should be in the Washington County ground?
Well, if you want to do that, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying you have actual homes that are RA1
Right along 200 East, yeah.
around 20 East.
20 East, yeah. There's nothing,
RA1 that's north of you.
right?
That
But that's a holding zone. RA1's a holding zone, and we all know that. That's going to be
Oh, I
changed.
don't think it's a holding zone. I think that there's a market for $800,000 homes. And I think that's what we have to, I mean, I understand there's a market for 10,000 square foot lots and 8,000, but there's also a market for 15,000 square foot lots. And I don't want to be the people that I don't want all of the fields to be something that is the first, the first home or the second home. I think that a portion of it should be, but I think there should be a portion of high-end homes too. And so I mean,
My only argument is that I just don't know how deep that market is, in all honesty.
well,
Well,
Is-
kind of like Commissioner Henry said, that's really his problem.
yeah, I mean, that's,
yeah,
don't
no, I
know.
agree. I agree.
This is Commissioner Hanson. Drew, Drew, there was a survey that was given to the Washington City residents about what they wanted with the fields. Has that been compiled, the results of that?
No, actually, we kind of held off getting it out because we wanted to follow that survey up with open houses. And then COVID came along.
Okay.
We want to have this gap, having this survey out there, and then people kind of lose, all that because of COVID and all the uncertainty. So we're finishing getting the survey actually ready, and as soon as we can, probably in the next 3 to 5 weeks, we'll probably get that survey out.
Okay. I remember taking it, so it must have come to the commissioners where we had a chance to take it. I know I did.
Yeah, we gave something for you guys to look at, but it has not gone out to the public as of yet, thanks to COVID.
I remember looking at that survey, felt like I took it. Maybe I didn't, but I thought I did. And I understand and respect your decision. I thought the exact opposite. As a Washington Fields resident, I would love it to have bigger lots. So I think, I guess if you ask 10 people, you're going to get a couple different answers. But yeah, that's where I think that it actually fits better with the surrounding homes that are there to the south, to the east, with the R115. The R110, in my opinion, is going to be the one that doesn't fit for now, as this is built out. But
The argument could be made both ways. I mean,
yeah,
I personally would like to see probably R18, maybe R110 or R110. But I mean, it's the developer's problem, so that's what he wants to build, then that's what he wants.
this is Commissioner Hanson again. Can you tell us what improvements to roads need to be built? Is it 240 all the way to the school, or is it just to the end of the subdivision that's being proposed?
Well, during the subdividing part, it will definitely be the whole boundary, on, let me grab my pencil here. So it would definitely be all along here.
Yeah.
That curb and gutter would be required. Now they'd have to do something between here. Sorry, my pencil's not wanting to go right and left. Here and here, but Brandon, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
What would you guys require in this distance here on 240? Would it just be asphalt, and then or what is the rule of thumb on that along 240 on this north part on this RA1 zone piece?
I would assume we'd have to have an all-weather surface. Like that's what we've asked other people to do for now because they don't own that. So we can't really force them into putting the improvements down right now, just in front of their subdivision. They'd be responsible for the improvements and then half the road right now in front of their parcel.
I have a question. South of them's the school, right?
Correct.
is it, would there be any advantage to have them come off to the east of the school rather than off of Merrill Road? I'm
The,
just asking. I don't know what the distance is, what the problems are. I'm just asking.
so the school, the 240 in front of the school on east of the school is already paved to their boundary. And then they would have to take care of everything in front of their parcel along 240 from property line to property line. And then the sewer's going to have to come from Merrill Road running south. We'd be fighting grade going back the other way to
Well,
3090.
so it sounds to me like we'd be better off to ask them to go south rather than up to Merrill Road.
Correct.
Or are we going to require 2 exits from that subdivision?
Yeah, is that what you're drawing there, Drew, on the across the R110 that splits that lot? Is that a road they would be required to build as well?
Well, it's like Brandon said, we'd make them build, it would have to be a road of all weather service, so they'd have to build it up. It'd have to sustain a fire truck at minimum case. But I also was going to point out, I drew this red arrow in here because this subdivision, we're making them stub at least one, if not, is it one or just two? Only one road, Brandon, or two?
That was good.
So you're a rapper too, huh, Drew? There you go.
Well, Brandon,
Yeah, there's just one that comes through that other subdivision stubbed into that parcel.
Okay. So that answers my question on exits from the subdivision. Thank you.
Drew,
yes.
this is a little bit off topic, but since the new temple's been announced, just further south of this area, have you seen more people wanting to build larger homes in this area?
A few people have. In fact, you got a zone change coming up. We won't talk about it, but that piece was picked up. Going to be 2 large homes. In fact, it's the next zone change on the docket. That was probably, those people, I don't know if they had them already, but they're going to build two nice homes on that 5-acre piece. So there's been a few more people looking at that to have more estate type of a home probably in the area than the other way.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comment? Is the applicant on the line? Does he want to make any comments?
Yeah, this is Dave. I appreciate I think it was Commissioner Musso. I can't see or tell, but it sounded like Commissioner Musso that brought up the R110, and I appreciate the commission having those kind of conversations. And on this piece in particular, these lots are actually, even though this will be down the road, assuming that this moves forward, but they'd actually be bigger than 15,000. They'd average 20,000 foot lots. But yeah, I would just appreciate the conversation. You haven't seen it yet either. Last week, the city council had approved the parcel to the east that says Washington County on it, kind of in the middle of it, that we're moving forward with an annexation. We've got to go through a lengthy process with the county and the city, but we anticipate that parcel to be similar as well, even larger lots on that. And then to the landowner on the north, that's the RA1. We're working jointly with the parcel to the west of us on getting the improvements, hopefully all the way up to 40 west to Merrill Road, including curb gutter and pavement, not just all weather surface, but that's still to be determined.
Thanks, Dave. This is a public hearing. Do we have any comments?
Chairman Smith, at this time, there are no comments whatsoever.
Okay. If there are no comments, I'd look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Mr. Hanson, I second.
Go ahead, Jason.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Henry,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Mr. Holly,
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Motion passes unanimously to close the public hearing. Further discussion or a motion on the zone change?
Did I understand that correct when the developer got, or the applicant got on the phone? That piece that says Washington County right there is gonna have bigger lots than what the R115 is? Did I understand that right?
I
That
think
sounds like his intention.
I think
Okay.
his subdivision, he plans on it being bigger.
Bigger, okay,
Dave? Dave, you
That's
think,
correct.
okay.
I think he wants to put 20s in
20.
here.
So in
Yeah,
those-
we'd anticipate 20 on the 18 acres, and on the what Drew's Bob Ross with the blue stars on it would probably be bigger than 20,000 even, assuming that works out through the annexation process.
Drew, just this is Commissioner Hanson again, just from my own knowledge, how does that work, Drew? Do we not see these because they're Washington County?
No, I'm not sure what the question is. Sorry, can you just explain? I mean, Washington County, I don't know what their zoning is,
Yeah,
and it doesn't, but because that's going to come into us eventually.
okay,
What the applicant's telling you, he is the one applying for the annexation on that one piece with the blue stars.
yes,
And their plan is that annexation, you can ask for zoning. And it's
Okay.
usually awarded if it's not too out in left field. So they'll probably, when they get that annexed, he might be asking for an RA half, or he may be asking for the R130, R120. I mean, we'll leave that up to him at the annexation, but it sounds like they want to be 20,000 or bigger. And then he can decide if he's going to have it standard residential or residential agricultural.
so in that process, above your 20 plus on the screen there,
Yes.
would there be a road that would tee in to the east right there? Is that how the street map would look? And then it would tee into the one that we're looking at tonight?
Yeah, it depends on probably, something here may happen. Yeah. It all depends on design.
I mean, right above your 20 plus,
Oh, up here?
right there. Yeah, would that go east and west, connecting the subdivision tonight with 20 east?
Probably not. I would imagine they could put a road there, but my guesstimation will be, and hopefully Commissioner Smith can back me up, is those will probably be backyards backed up to back up on that property, on this boundary up here.
Okay,
It could be road, but my guesstimation is it will probably be backyard to backyard.
all right.
Yeah,
Because I see their lots coming in like this
Okay.
with the cul-de-sac.
Then they would use the road that is going to be built with the subdivision that we're seeing, or the piece of property we're seeing right now tonight.
If it lines up.
Okay.
any other discussion?
No, Commissioner Holly, I'm just thinking like Commissioner Henry coming out of the south. If they don't develop the 240 to the going on up to Merrill Road, then all of those people are going to take the paved road back down to 3090, which is just going to put an awful lot of traffic next to that intermediate school. But I'm sure we'll have enough signs up there to slow those people down. So that'd be my concern. Yep, right there. That would be my concern, is just the additional traffic going by that school. But they just have to keep an eye on the kids. That's all.
I don't know. I wonder. Well, okay. Never. I mean, my comment is, I don't know how many people are going to be taking it south, because it doesn't really lead you anywhere that north isn't. Right. The north's going to take you closer to the commercial. South
Yeah,
is
it's gonna
easy to school.
take you to Merrill Road and you can get out of Dodge. That's true.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thanks for that, Jason. That's all I had.
same with me. Commissioner Hanson, nothing else.
Any other comments or a motion?
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval to the city council of Z20-8-alpha, a request to rezone approximately 18.01 acres located at 2800 South and 240 West. Excuse me, with findings and plans as listed.
Commissioner Hanson, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second in favor. Commissioner Henry,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Hawley,
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith is an aye as well. Motion passes unanimously. We'll now move to item 4B. This is a public hearing for consideration and recommendation to City Council, a zone change Z-20-09 to change from A-20 agricultural minimum of 20 acres to RA1 residential agricultural minimum 1 acre located at approximately 3470 South, 240 West. The applicant is Bryce Jones.
Thank you. As stated, the applicant is requesting approval of a zone change of approximately 4.98 acres. The request, as stated, is from the current Ag 20 acre minimum, A20, to a proposed RA1 residential agricultural 1 acre minimum. The request purpose is to develop the 4.9 acres into a residential property for the applicant's personal home, and then a possible future lot split for parents to also build a home at this location. The general plan land use designation is on this property, low density residential. The surrounding zoning to the parcel is RA1 to the north and east. That is a bonus density project on both those, north and east. A20 to the south, and then Washington County zoning to the east. I'm sorry, that should be to the west. And with that said, staff has reviewed the application, and staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of Z-20-09 for the zone change request from Ag 20 to the proposed RA 1 acre minimum onto the City Council. And that's in accordance to the findings in your report. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you have on this application.
Questions for staff?
So this is the current owner, is that correct, Drew? He owns this property, he wants to rezone it and build his own house, and then down in sometime in the future, build a house for his parents.
That's my understanding. Bryce, are you on the phone with us?
Yes, I am.
Now, do you own these parcels currently then was the question? Do you mind? I don't know for sure, so I thought I'd divert that to you.
Yes. Yes, I do own them. I purchased them already.
Okay.
So that's right around in there then, huh? Okay, thank you, Drew, for the red lines. You're getting pretty good with that pencil.
Hey, Bryce, do you know who purchased? Bryce, did you also purchase the lots south of yours?
I did not. I have the 2.5 acre lots, and to my understanding, there's another owner to the south, and then the other 5 acres south of that is another owner still.
So 4 owners total.
And I don't know what their intentions are.
There's the 3 or 4 owners for the whole thing.
Well, it's all, I've got 2.5 acre parcels, and then there's a 5 acre to the south.
Yeah.
And another 5 acres to the south. So a total of 3 owners for the 15 acres.
Okay.
Now, didn't we have the property off the highway or off the road to the south already as applied for something?
No, not here.
Okay, sorry, I must have it confused with something else. Probably,
Drew, this is Commissioner Holly. Looking at the screen, catty corner or kitty corner from your 5-acre parcel to the lower left with all those parking stalls
that's a church.
what is that?
That's the stake center.
That's what I thought. That's the stake center. Yeah.
And the new road's gonna come right through here.
The new road going to the temple.
Yes.
It goes behind the stake center? I thought it went after it.
My understanding is right, they're gonna modify the parking lot a little bit and come right through. Now, Brandon, do you know for sure, isn't that correct?
That's been the discussion. I don't know if it's done and set in stone yet, but that
That's
has
what
been.
the master transportation showed it there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the maps have shown that for quite a while.
Yep.
I have. It's really not for discussion, I guess, on this piece of property, but I have a picture of the master. I could have swore it cut after the church. Doesn't matter. That's fine.
There you go.
That green line, Commissioner Hanson.
That's it. So wow, okay. That's different than the one I had. Huh.
This changed within the last year, I think.
Yeah. That guy Myron that's in charge of all that stuff. You must know him.
Brandon does.
Yeah, he was telling us about leadership Dixie thing. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's fine.
I'm just a little bit, what's the, I don't know, it's not red, call it maroon, purple line that hooks in, cuts through the corner of the parking lot.
That's how that road's gonna tie into the realigned road. They're gonna have to have some sort of.
Aren't they deleting this road from the T intersection down to the church?
It's still being discussed how they're going to do that.
Okay,
We had some meetings with St. George City, so I don't think anything's set in stone yet, but everything's been working through right now.
okay, thanks, Brandon.
What are you drawing there, Drew?
That'll be eliminated.
Oh,
So do we have any other questions on the zone change from A20 to RA1? This is all great information, but it's really not pertinent to the item on the top.
Yeah, sorry, Bryce.
Trying to keep everyone on task.
thank you, Jason, for pulling us back.
You bet. Any questions for the applicant, or does the applicant want to say anything else? I mean, on this?
Just based on your discussion from earlier, my wife and I were looking at this property and trying to buy this before the temple was announced. So that didn't really factor into us wanting a bigger lot or not. It just so happened that we could convince the seller to sell this to us. So it didn't really have any determination where the temple is going. But yeah, our plan is to build one home for ourselves, and then if and when down the road, if our parents need assistance, we might build a second home on there down the road. But that's our plans for it right now. And we have no intention of developing it into multiple lots or subdivision or anything like that.
Okay. That's good to know. This is also a public hearing, so if there's no other discussion, have we had any comments on this item?
I'm good.
There's no public comments at this time.
No public comments, so I'd look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Commissioner Hawley, a second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Henry,
Aye.
Commissioner Hawley,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Public hearing is closed. If there, I'd also look for a motion, further discussion or a motion on item 4B.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval to the city council of Z20, am I on the right one?
Yep. Yes, you are.
Z20-9-A, a request to rezone approximately 4.98 acres located at approximately 3470 south, 240 west, from current agriculture to proposed residential agriculture. Listed with that would be recommendations and findings as listed.
Commissioner Hanson, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Henry,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Hawley,
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick. You're on silent.
Sorry. Aye.
And I'm an aye. The motion passes. 4B passes unanimously. Item 4C is a public hearing for consideration or recommendation to City Council. This is Z-20-10. This is to change from PUD planned unit development to PUD planned unit development residential. It's located at 100 south and 100 west. The applicant is Hanson.
Thank you. Let me kind of zoom in. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. The applicant is requesting zone change of approximately 0.28 acres. The requested change is from the current zoning of planned unit development, PUD, to a proposed new PUD development residential. The PUDR request is for the purpose of developing the 0.28 acres into a residential duplex. The general plan land use designation at this location is medium density residential. The surrounding zoning to this parcel is PUD to the north and west, with R16 to the south and east. I say, just to let you know, you may ask, why are we going from PUD to PUDR? Well, the purpose is this was zoned way back when the Mill Creek townhomes you see in the screen over here that I'm circling. This piece was supposed to be joined at that time with this and never came to fruition in building that out. So it may be zone PUD, but there is no approved plan. And so this zoning kind of will act as that, this zone change with that. Staff's reviewed the request. Just to give you a little history before I go into that, several years ago, somebody made a proposal for putting 4 units on this project, and it was denied. The council at that time said, if you come back and do a triplex, we'd probably consider it. Well, after a couple of years, a new applicant came back and had read those minutes, put a proposal together for a triplex. It was a different council at this time, and it got denied. And so now this applicant's come back with a duplex on the property. And so that's why we're here tonight. And staff's reviewed this, again, proposal, meets all the setbacks. Also just wanted to come down and give you elevations as well. Here's the front elevations. Then we'll kind of scroll down. The 2 side elevations, of course, are going to look alike with the duplex on each side. And then you have the back elevation showing a stucco finish with tile roof. And then again, the floor plan is your last exhibit on there. So again, the front one showed a bit of landscaping, kind of how they would put it in. And so with that said, and staff's review, staff would like to recommend that the Planning Commission recommend approval of Z-20-10 for the zone change request from Planned Unit Development PUD to a proposed Planned Unit Development Residential PUDR zoning designation. This would be on to the City Council, and it's based on the findings and subject to the 6 conditions in your report, and kept them very simple for this simple duplex. So I'll be glad to answer any questions that the commission might have on this proposed PUD zone change.
If I remember correctly, that's a vacant lot now, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay.
In fact, I'll bring that up if you want. I'll keep this ready, available, and we'll kind of zoom in so you can get an idea of the surrounding.
Couple months back, didn't we have something similar to this? I think 100 East, 100 West, 200 West. And he wanted to put 2 duplexes, then came back with a 1 duplex and a single unit, something on one.
That was the 3-unit proposal, yes.
Right around in that same lot, isn't it, Drew?
Yeah. I'm going to back out so you can see in relationship to Telegraph right up there. So then I'll point it out here in a second for you. And it is this lot right here.
Well, it certainly fits the neighborhood, I have to say.
Yeah, isn't that the same lot though with the three units on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Because remember how tight it was. I do remember this. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it was tight, Jason.
Yeah.
For sure. Not enough common area, that sort of thing. Is the applicant online, Drew?
Steve, is that applicant with us? Curtis?
Yes.
Yeah, he's on.
So, Mr. Anderson, Commissioner Hawley here. Are these units for sale then?
Not at this time.
They'll be rental?
They're just, yes.
And what's the square footage?
You'd have to look at his report. I don't remember. Just a minute, let me look.
It was on that elevations that you had, Drew.
Okay, let me
1,500 square feet.
Oh, okay, so they're smaller. Yeah, makes sense. Those will fit nicely on that lot. Okay, that's all I had. I just wanted to know square footage and if they were for sale or for rent. So they're rental properties. Those would be nice.
Drew, and this is Commissioner Hanson. In looking at this, one of the questions that we had when it was a triplex was it was too close to the townhomes on the left-hand side of the screen. This, it looks like it's meaning that it's at the 8-foot setback and then some. So it's like probably what, 20 feet?
It's 16 to 17 feet, I guesstimated.
Okay.
Yeah, I scaled it kind of out. It's between 16, 17, right there.
Okay, thanks.
And then you're over 20 feet on the other 3 sides.
Yeah.
And I really like the landscape they've come up with on this. I hope they follow it pretty close. It's going to be a nice place.
This is Commissioner Hanson. I don't have anything else.
Any other comments?
Oh, hello.
Does the applicant have any other comments to add? Oh.
No, Drew, I think we're good.
Okay, great. Public comments.
Chairman Smith, we have one comment. It was actually done at our last city council meeting, so we've moved it over to this meeting. It is from Christina Clayton Tuller. She's in the downtown area. She says, I am concerned with the proposal of a zone change requested by Curtis Anderson at 100 South, 100 West. Our family home sits directly to the south across the street. What will the change involve and how will it affect our homes in the area and our property values? That's the only comment we have.
Okay. With that being the only comment, I would look to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second that.
I have all in favor, Commissioner Henry,
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Motion passes unanimously. Further discussion on this, I would think that as far as property value goes, I would think that
Am I the only one getting interference?
I'm getting it.
I think we're all hearing that, but I think it couldn't hurt the property values at all, Jason. I think if anything, it would enhance the neighborhood from all of those. It'd be kind of a buffer between the industrial, the red dirt place and the garage and everything. I think it'd be a welcome addition.
Yeah, I would too. I agree with that. Any other discussion or a motion on this?
This is Commissioner Hanson. I'll make a motion that we recommend for approval to City Council, item Z-20-10. Request to rezone approximately 0.28 acres located at the northwest corner of 100 South, 100 West from the current planned unit development PUD zoning to a proposed unit development residential PUDR zoning designation application Curtis Anderson, subject to the findings and conditions listed in our report.
Commissioner Hawley, I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Henson.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah. Commissioner Hanson, are you?
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Hawley?
Aye.
Commissioner Henry?
Aye.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Motion passes unanimously. Item 5A for information was withdrawn by the applicant. If there's anyone watching and that got here late. And that concludes the Planning Commission meeting.
Can I just make one comment?
You bet.
Drew, this probably points to you pretty good, but I've had several people corner me of recent that ask about the term open space. I think we need to come up with a term that doesn't say open space. We need to have something that's not confusing, I guess.
The council's already directed staff to get with the planning commission. We're going to go over that map, and we're going to get into topographies. We're going to spend a little time. I just haven't had the time to get this thing going yet.
Okay. Well,
space is going to be, not, and again, anybody listening, please always remember nothing on the map is 100% forever till the end of eternity. Just make that, want that to be known, but we're going to try to be a little bit more create a different zone that will be kind of a holding zone. We're going to call it the yet to be determined zone or something. We'll come up with a nice thing. So when people see it, they'll know that it's not been determined and it will be determined at a requested date. But we're going to get, some open space we're going to designate just because of its topography, and for the most part will probably remain open space. But this is just way too much where people just don't comprehend, that and don't want to comprehend it. Sometimes it is it's put in open space because we didn't want to designate it at the time until somebody came with a proposal, and that's been common since I've been in the business. But again, times are a changing. And so we're going to probably work towards changing that general plan designation and be more specific of finding that hard, fast line of certain things will be open space and others we're going to get down into the nitty gritty of topography and, floodplains, things like that will then make a to be determined category will become a.
Thank you, because like I said, I've had several people corner me over the last couple of months. And I just thought I ought to bring it up, but it sounds like the city council's ahead of us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Drew.
And we'll be looking into that here in the near future.
Chairman, this is Commissioner Hanson. I have a question that can be waited until the next time, if that's fine, but it had to do with the item that was tabled. And Drew, I'm kind of looking for advice on this. And again, it might be appropriate not to talk about it here. It might be appropriate to talk about the next one. But after we met and I made comments about that lot all week, I thought about it, went out there, looked. I didn't talk to anybody, but I had a complete reversal of my thought. And is it a mistake for me to think that the person that's there, the applicant that brought their application to us, was there before anybody? And ultimately, doesn't that right to change things start with him? He has more of a right, it seems, than the people that were suggesting that, hey, you're going to block our view, it's going to be terrible for us, and we were promised all these things. But he was there long before any of that.
And I mean, I don't know if I can go as far. And again, don't take that like, I'm saying it to you. I'm just saying generally, that, yeah, he was there first, but I don't know if he has more of a right to change, I guess. He has as much a right as anybody does to change, or at least ask for a change. That's the whole thing about zoning. People think it's a concrete type of a thing, and I'm just here to say that it's not. It's what you want to go by at that time. Times do change things. Things evolve. One property you think is going to be perfect for this down in the future, nobody's down there yet. All of a sudden, as things build out, it changes. And so that's why you have this whole process of asking for, amendments to a general plan or amendments to the zoning map, which has been a right for many, many, many years, for any folks living anywhere between coast to coast and border to border, on that. So I know I beat around the bush a bit there, but I can't remember what your original view on it was and what you changed to, but
I really felt for the people that were coming to us that were going to back up to that. And then I thought, well, maybe there's an inherent advantage that the first person there has. Bottom line, he probably didn't want those homes, and it came. And it just made me think, well, wait a second. I guess I thought, and I feel now that it's an inherent advantage. If that's wrong, I'm open to someone telling me that you were the first one there. And I don't know. I just felt so different. And it's bothered me, to be honest with you. I literally think about it way too much now. And I was sad to see it tabled because I was happy to put my opinion out there. Anyway.
Appreciate that.
Gentlemen, can you hear me at all?
Yes, we can now.
Okay. Ever since item 1, I haven't been able to say a word, which I'm sure you don't want to hear from me anyway, but can we, between the technical difficulties that we're having, is there any reason why we're not going to meet in the council chambers like we should be meeting? Because we've had all that feedback tonight, my microphone was turned off. I couldn't say a word. I just don't know why we're not meeting live, and Kathy said we're going to be like this until August. It's like, why?
The social distancing rules are still in place.
Well, the city council seems to get around that. I'm sitting in here with, they're set up for city council, so they're social distancing the same way we would be.
This is Commissioner Hanson. I'm comfortable with whatever's decided. Coming in, staying here. But it is, I agree. The feedback that we got tonight was a little extreme. But outside of that, I didn't have any problems. But I didn't realize City Council was doing it. But yeah, whatever. I'm open to anything.
Now, Brian, was that because of the TVs behind you kept echoing into your microphone, I think?
I don't know what was doing it, but I had no microphone. And then when we kept getting all that feedback, I'm looking, if I'm in the council chambers, I'm looking towards the audience where the audience would be. So I don't even know. I got 3 monitors.
Drew, the feedback.
Oh, it's from the
The
applicant?
microphone, but the feedback came from an applicant.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, we can't blame it on your grandchildren tonight, Brian.
No, I can't blame it on anybody. I'm here by myself,
Well, actually, again, it is a decision. The council got together because they wanted to be together again. It wasn't, and again, was it early? Was it not early? That's their call to make on that, and they wanted to do it, and that's why that room is set up, Brian, the way you're sitting there right now. Last week we did that. It does limit the number of people that can come in, and that's the other thing is if you're meeting there, they want to be able to come in, and if we have to shut people out, then because of the limits and the distance. So there's these things that we've been playing with, and weighing out. And that's really comes down to, you guys could collectively as a group say you want to, and we're just trying to extend this as long as we can to not have to deal with those things of having, again, the public coming in. Because again, if you meet here, then it actually limits us a little bit more about people. They're still going to see it on TV, but they're going to, if you're in the room, then we almost have to let them in the room by law. But if we don't have enough room to take in all the capacity, someone's going to be left out, and then they're going to be mad. Because there's nothing we can do about that. You got to keep the distance. You got to be to the limited numbers. So it can be discussed.
I personally don't feel comfortable meeting as a collective group at this time with the cases rising the way they are. We're 4th in the state right now. So.
One reason for the July 1st meeting is I have to send out notices. I have to mail them out and way before we even have the meeting going forward. So in order for me to get the notices out on time for the July 1st meeting, I had to set it up so it is electronic. Now the second meeting in July, I guess we could look at it different, but I need to know way in advance so that the notice requirement is met.
This is Commissioner Hawley. I side with Commissioner Van. Meeting with the 7 or 8 of us, social distancing, I'm kind of okay with, but you start bringing the public in there, and I'm out.
My doctor actually said I should probably take some caution just because I have some underlying health conditions. So
I think there's
I'm an old man, and I appreciate the fact that they're covering us. And I would recommend that we stay with what we're doing.
You're older than I am too, Rick, I think.
I'm older than you are by quite a few.
Yeah, I thought I'd just point that out. So I'm good with what we're doing, despite a couple of technical difficulties. I just see more and more people with this stuff, and fewer people. A month ago, you go to Smith's grocery store, and half the people were wearing masks. I was in there yesterday, and there were 1 out of 20 had a mask on. So I just think we're in for a second wave, and I don't want to be part of it.
Well, I am good either way. I understand your concern, Brian. I think that there is some things that are lost when we're not together and in person, but I'm good either way. And with the health concerns of a number of the commissioners, we probably should keep it this way. And we need to at least the July 1st meeting. And it sounds like the majority of the commission would like to do it at least till August. So that's fine with me. So any other discussion that we would like to have tonight?
This is Commissioner Hanson. I make a motion that we close the meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 If there's any opposed, they may stay as long as they want in front of their computer. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Good night, gentlemen. I do miss seeing you, but let's play it safe. Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
How do I get out of here?